I can make it work. Oops. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Feels like this is kind of part of the reading, though. Is like it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. Will it work? No, it just says rotate device. How do I make it go? I'm not sure how to make this thing go into the mode that I want it to be in, which is where I can put it like side to side. But we'll just do it like this. This is fine. What is it, like the meme? In fact, I think that's going to be a theme for Aries season, because this is another cardless reading, and it's that meme where there's the little yellow dog with the top hat, and he's filled in a room full of fire. I just saw 52 at the clock, and he's going, "This is fine," but it feels like two timelines. For some of you, it's going to be this is fine, as in this is actually fine. Like you may be surrounded um, by a ton of things, like by all this Aries energy, by all this passion, and there may be people around you who are even being super dramatic, and you're fine. Like you're fine. You're like good, and you're not happy about drama happening per se, but maybe I'm sensing the feeling of a lot of people learning the the lesson of when is a negative response a good response. So when is a little bit of drama exactly the right thing that needs to happen? And usually it's when you didn't instigate anything and you're not asking for drama, but drama is happening anyways, which is kind of weird to say. Or it might even be that there are some people like family members, um, partners, things like that, that they're being dramatic, and you're able to recognize that actually it's not a bad thing because that means that they're changing. It means that they're experiencing a dissonance in their mind to where they're no longer able to be who they were, especially if this is somebody for you that has been very immature. Anyways, I decided to title this one Passion and Provenance, and I think that that's going to be kind of our theme. I think I spelled provenance wrong, but you know what? That's okay because I'm not taking myself that seriously. Um, and it feels like that's kind of the theme of this Aries season for everybody. So from today, March 20th to approximately April 20th, 420 and all that, it's going to be kind of I keep seeing the image of the Knight of Wands in there, like very not necessarily dramatic, but theatrical. I suppose the other timeline I was talking about is those for those people that are in the middle of a fiery room and they don't like it, but they're pretending everything's fine, and it's kind of like towers are happening around them, and part of it is that they're fine with that because they want the situation to end. This could be you, this could be someone else you're interacting with. And the other part of it is that it's not fine and they don't like it, and maybe they're not necessarily sure if they want it to end, but it's just like a spiritual intervention coming in because it's time to start new. It is spring. It's time to clean out the closets. It's time to, and you know what? Actually, that's been a fairly big theme. I don't know if it's a passing energy that's been through or one that's kind of coming through, but it's that Eminem song, Cleaning Out Your Closet. I'm sorry, mama. I never meant to hurt you. Right? Never meant to make you cry. So tonight, I'm cleaning out my closet. And it's very much Knight of Wands resonates for me with other synchronicities that have been coming through and feel like they're meant for this reading, which is the energy of moving, like movement. I've been seeing a lot of sevens too, which is the chariot energy. And it also, there may be somebody in your life playing the theme of a Cancerian or a Leo. And it doesn't have to be that they're in those signs, but they're in that energy. And it's very much like, I mean, if you're not the one who's moving, like you can tell this, like maybe you're feeling like moving, you're moving cities, or you want to just move around, you want to dance, you want to do this, like well, what I'm going to say is through Aries season, you're going to feel like making movement, and if you don't have a way to move, like you might want to move, but maybe you have people to care for, you'll find other ways to make moves. And but if you're not doing a physical move, I have a sense you're going to be hearing with and or interacting with somebody who is, like, who's literally dealing with moving, whether they are moving someone out of their place or they are moving out of their place, or they're telling you they got a new place or something like that. And also just, I mean, this isn't, this is both, this is intuitive, but it's also knowing the astrology and watching the collective tribe patterns, is that there's a lot of energy of breakups and ending of old situations, old cycles. And there's been a lot of rainbows, which tells me that there's a lot of positive new cycles happening. And I think that the energy that I picked up on the DMDF collective of the last reading I did also fits in general for everybody for Aries season, which is that things you've never done, things you've never said. Like, it's really that energy of opening up to the possibilities of all sorts of things you maybe have always wanted to do, and you held your back. You held your back. I meant to say you held yourself back, but you held your back. Maybe there's something, maybe back troubles. Maybe you've held your stress in your back or something like that. But either way, there's definitely this sacral chakra, like your root chakra is doing good, you're feeling secure, you're feeling comfortable, and you're feeling like trying things that you've never tried before. And that could be, it feels like it's all areas. Like, it's something new for work, it's something new for relationships, passion, pleasure, play, pain, all of it. Like, you're ready to try things that you've been holding yourself back from. And you're seeing things in new ways that you've never seen them before, no matter where you are on your journey in life or how old you are or whatnot. Like, you're seeing things. And I'm also feeling like, it's funny actually, that part that I said where you're seeing things, I feel like this Piscean energy that's continuing through it, through other planets, especially through Mercury for the next couple of weeks, that you might actually feel like you're seeing things. Oh, hi, is it Leora? I'm pleased to meet you too, and thank you for the compliment. Um, you're likely to be seeing things in a Piscean way, as in, you might see, I call, a lot of times I call them future echoes. You might see text coming in when you've got no text coming in. You might have this sense that, like, you ever, I don't know, for those of you that remember having corded phones in the house or even cordless phones, you ever, you have that moment, maybe like 30 seconds or 5 seconds right before the phone's going to ring, and you just knew that the phone was going to ring. And sometimes you even knew who it was going to be from, even though you weren't expecting a call. Like, that kind of feeling. You might even have times that you feel like you see somebody coming down the road and they're not there. You might see cars of somebody that you know, that it's not actually their car, but it's like same year and everything, but maybe there's a sticker that's off. You're going to be seeing the signs of people. Nice, Mars and Pisces, cool. That are manifesting. They're either manifesting into your life. Well, it's both. They're manifesting into your life, and they're also manifesting you. And they may have been someone that you were maybe formerly trying to manifest. I don't know. It really depends on what's going on for you. It could even be. I sense for a fair amount of you that this Aries season, so there's been this interesting pattern coming up, because we're kind of in a karmic carnival, but I sense that we're coming out of it, with distortions and funhouse mirrors and things like that. And what it is that through, well, it's funny. I don't know about you, but a lot of people in my real life collective have been noticing this strange sort of Mercury retrograde energy, even though Mercury's not in retrograde and it's been out of retrograde for a little while, and we're still pretty free and clear in terms of Mercury retrograde. And on January 14th, Uranus went direct, so we don't have anything significant that should be causing electronic problems or communication problems or things like that. But what it feels like, if I just go with my intuitive gift, is that, so I read something that really resonated, that this last Mercury retrograde in Aquarius didn't come for our exes, it came for our priorities. And what it feels like is that we kind of got a double dose of Mercury retrograde energy, but the first half was about our priorities, and then the second half is about, like, return of the exes. And it doesn't have to be an ex lover, but it feels like it's that energy to where this Aries season, we're going to see return of past people. I don't say we're going to continue to see that, but it's going to be them returning in ways that they have not ever returned before. So, it could be well, it could. What came into my mind is you may have had a sweet ex that they were immature and they weren't good. You could not be with them at the time, but they were always sweet and vulnerable, and now they're fiery and passionate and they're ready for a fight, probably a fight that they have been trying to avoid having. Um, and it's probably a fight that needs to be had, either for closure or reconnection or whatever. And then the other side is those that that you've been interacting with who have been acting very machismo or very I wanted to say dominating, but dictatorish kind of came in, kind of had that God complex of I'm always right and you're always wrong. And those people are coming back in and going, actually, I recognize that you were right. And I apologize for the ways that I acted because I realized I really needed you to be that person for me, that I've always needed somebody to be that person to kind of tell me about myself and point out that I am not being righteous and not being honorable and not being honest, and that I need to do those things, and that it couldn't have been more perfect that it came from you, except that I feel bad that I hurt you in my tantrums and ways that I reacted to you. But I also love that you are the kind of person who can recognize all of that. Like 360 turnarounds. Not just 180s where it's like they're playing out a part that you played before and vice versa, but like a real 360 of energy, a real rainbow transformation sort of thing. That you might even have like friends and family and ex-lovers and people that you would either cut off contact with, or they cut off contact with you. A lot of it feels like it's misunderstanding energies, but part of it was simply that spirit kind of put you in your own corners because you were going in different directions for a while. But it was something to do with boundaries, to where you needed to stop over giving and they didn't like that, and they needed to give more and they didn't like that, and so you went your separate ways. And these people are coming back in, and it's like they've been washed in a rainbow almost. Like you're like, who are you? Who is this guy I'm talking to? Or who is this girl I'm talking to? And you might think about that with yourself, like, who is this person I am? It's funny. I had a moment like that that feels like it fits in with this energy coming up, to where I went to get dinner for my family and went into a Subway, and I never noticed this about myself. I know that I typically have, it's funny, it's kind of a Peter Pan stance in a way, to where you have your arms out and you're standing, your legs are a little bit separate. Um, and I usually have my hands behind my back. It just helps me stand up straight. But I realized I actually kind of like to touch my own back, and it wasn't like a really big thing. It was just kind of a funny little absurdity. But then I realized that I love that spot on my body. It's very like, it's something I can't see, but I know what it looks like. It's a space that, well, I know my DM really likes it. And also, I've lost a lot of weight over the last year, which was a goal that I set for myself. And I had, I just had my hands in the back of my jeans, and I was just kind of just, I don't know, just touching my back. It was really weird. And what's funny is there was nobody else in there behind me, so it was like it was like, whatever. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm enjoying myself right now. Healthy narcissism, right? Just like, I like me. I really like who I am. I like how my body is. I like what I'm doing with my life. And then this couple came in behind me, and I really wasn't paying too much attention to them, but I had the thought in my mind, ooh, I shouldn't be showing skin in here. And then I thought, I don't care. We got the 6 feet apart rule. I got, like, what am I worried about? They're busy. They're in love. What am I doing? And I'm laughing because the person who was helping me with the order went to go grab something. And I hear from behind me this, what? I wasn't looking. And I mean, it could have been about something else, but it just made me feel good. And I'm happy with the absurdity of believing that that was about me. And how funny is that? I've never really thought of myself as that kind of person, but especially with my Scorpio Mars, I'm also aware that I am that person. Um, and I feel like that energy is going to kind of be a collective thing, especially for feminines. Thank you, supporting myself, right? Well, especially with all the heavy back injury stuff I went through, it feels really great to love my back, you know? But it feels like that's a collective energy. You might, some of you, male, female, masculine, feminine, out of the binary, that you're going to be feeling a really good self love that makes you glow, that really makes you glow, almost like that pregnancy glow, but it, it can happen for masculines too. Um, and you're going to notice it and likely actually feel good about it, because I know a lot of us I've been in a place where it's been difficult to accept compliments, or to be okay with loving ourselves, or to be okay with being right, or being kind, or embracing absurdities that nobody else can see, but we know that they're true, so we embrace them anyways. Like, you're going to be in a place where you feel good about who you are, about where your life is, no matter whether you have all the pieces in it that you want or not. And I'm seeing a lot of birds flying in, um, especially hummingbirds. And hummingbirds are an interesting synchronicity, but birds in general are usually messages coming in from spirit and or from people in real life. And typically it heralds good news, but I know from some of the other readings I've done, I actually feel like there's going to be a collective outburst of communication, especially if you like, I mean, from between quarantine and then just some of the spiritual ascensions and dark nights that we've all been through, there's been a lot of, well, for some it's felt isolating, but if you really embraced your healing, it's been about seclusion, like surrendering to the seclusion, enjoying that time with yourself, looking at your shadows and shadow work and the cobwebs that have not really been addressed, and letting yourself be in this weird jello transition where you can feel that things are happening and there's something you feel like you need to do, but there really isn't anything to do, so you just got to kind of learn to trust the vibes. And now it feels like with this Astara energy, this New Year energy, this big Aries energy, overlaid with the loving, romantic, imaginative Pisces energy, that there's going to be like this outburst of emotions, and especially in terms of communication and a desire to be vulnerable and courageous in ways that we've never really allowed ourselves to be before. And it feels like I'm seeing that card, adjacent doors or adjacent doorways, so it feels like it'll be popping up from places you wouldn't quite expect it. And for most of you, at least watching this, it's going to be good. And especially if you're getting comfortable with being in the energy of expecting the unexpected in a joyful way. Like I always say, like, intend to have joyful amazement, like pleasant surprises coming in. And then, yeah, you might get a few unexpectedly unpleasant surprises, but because you know there's so many more pleasant ones on the way, you're okay with that. And but the hummingbird stuff, I should do a video about hummingbirds and their feathers and meanings, because hummingbird is very interesting. A lot of people initially associate hummingbird as just joyfulness, playfulness, but hummingbirds have many aspects. One of the most interesting ones is that hummingbirds are an amplifier. Like, it's especially like, so you have a house or a car, or you like love having hummingbirds around. Hummingbirds amplify any energy around, and that can be karmic energy, that could be good energy, that could be toxic energy, it could be love energy. It amplifies whatever feelings are naturally within you. The other thing is that hummingbirds actually, in a lot of indigenous communities, are considered warriors. And if you ever seen hummingbirds in the springtime, when the males are getting ready to pursue the females, they can get quite feisty. And there's part of the reason that their beaks are so long. It's not just to get the nectar. It's they use them quite like swords. And because of that, I'm definitely sensing. I want to say it's more King of Swords energy than Queen of Swords energy. It feels like Queen of Swords energy is kind of in the background. It's maybe you or somebody you're thinking about, but it's very much like, you can come towards me anytime you like. I'm happy to do that, but recognize that I will cut you if you don't come correct. And not in a like violent way, but in a I will tell you the truth about you kind of way. And the King of Swords energy, it's funny. It feels like, as I see a vision of King of Swords card, but the Knight of Wands is laying on top of it. So it does feel very much like masculine energy and masculines involved. And I don't know why, but when I just went to look for my coffee, I couldn't see it, and I thought, did I not bring my coffee out with me? How could I not have done that? And then I saw it, and it feels like that might be kind of involved with this masculine energy, the transitioning from the cold swords cut you out kind of thing into this passionate, fiery, communicative, sexual energy sort of thing. And the fun thing is, I realized this earlier, this coffee cup that my mom gets, if you look at it, it's a fox. So I feel like that fits in with that Knight of Wands energy, that like foxy. Almost that song was it, I'm too sexy for my shirt. Come on, you know the words, right? And it feels like there's likely to be a fair amount of communication coming in to provide you some interesting contrast. And it might even be, I'm seeing a pattern of people emerging from the past who you would be completely righteous if you were to be like, no, I'm not interacting with this person anymore. The things that they did or said were enough that I have every reason and right to say no more, but you could decide to explore the absurdity of just letting go of the past and seeing where this new adventure takes you. And well, it's flavored creamer, but yeah, in fact, probably more people put cream and creamer in their coffee here in America than I. Well, I don't know about anywhere else. I know that a lot of people do here. And you know what's funny? That fits in with the energy I was talking about in the beginning of this reading. Things you've never done before, things never said before, things never thought of before. And it's one of my favorite absurdity games is think a thought you've never thought of before. Like really, just tell yourself that you want to think a thought you've never thought of before and then just wait and you'll have one come up, you know? And it could be as simple as have you ever thought about somebody making a jello mold inside a pink and purple polka dotted sock? Right? That's the well, yeah. I'm a millionaire is maybe a thought you've never thought of before, but that's also a thought that a lot of people think about and go, ew, that would never be me. I'm talking about just absurd thoughts, like, um, do you think that there's anywhere in the world where there is grass that grows completely purple and water that is completely pink? Like just thoughts that you've never thought of before. If you get into a practice of that sort of absurdity, you can actually get to a place where you could imagine yourself as a millionaire and actually feel like it. And once you feel like you already are a millionaire, then the universe must conspire to bring that reality into existence from your vortex. Yes. Also, you know what? That reminds me of another synchronicity that's been coming up that definitely feels like it is going to be a part of Aries season energy. Which, if you get into manifesting at all through any of the wonderful people and beings teaching it, one of my favorites is Abraham Hicks, and they talk about how everything that you desire is actually something that you already pre-planned when you decided to enter into this lifetime to manifest. It's already in what's called your vortex, and the real trick really is just to be able to allow the stuff from your vortex to come in. And the way to do that is to get to a place where you feel joyful and grateful for everything that you have right now. And it's not that you're never going to want things. That's part of the human experience that we created, was one where we do want things and we're never satisfied with things when we get them. We always want something new, but in each moment that you're wanting to manifest something, you think about it, you feel how you'll feel when you have it, you feel like you already have it, you do all that stuff, and then you forget about it. You set and forget. My 9-year-old is absolutely absurdly good at this. It makes me laugh, and we all feel very magical about it every time he does it. But it feels like that sort of energy coming up. And what I was going to say is, I've been experiencing a fair amount of vortexes, like energy vortexes, where you can usually recognize them because you'll like drive through them or walk through them, and your phone has no signal all of a sudden, or you might sometimes they come to you and like you'll be sitting in a place where you've always had great signal, and then all of a sudden your calls drop and nothing is coming in, and then like 2 hours later you get a ton of texts and emails and things that like you were fairly sure you could feel them, but they weren't coming through, and now they're coming through like that and that, like. And it feels like what that is not just a sign that the electromagnetic energy on the earth is shifting and moving and changing, but so are you. And you're lining up on the timelines where you get all those things that you have been wanting that you've now released. And that really feels like a really big energy coming in through this Aries season. It's the Ram's Gate. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good name for it. Right? See, yes, right. And so, I mean, there's also big synchronicities with Valentine's Day. So I'm saying, like, think back to what how things went for you in all areas of your life this last Valentine's Day, and also the last Valentine's Day of 2020, and think about maybe even the Valentine's Day before that, like the last 1 to 3 Valentine's Day, and think about, and hello everybody who's entered the room, welcome. Um, think about how those days went, the things you were thinking about, the things you experienced, the people you interacted with or didn't, if you normally have people doing that. Yes, and thank you, Leora. You know, it's funny. Thank you for that, actually. We are still going through what I've been calling the great remembering. And I put a dash between re and membering because it's kind of like when you go through various shamanic practices, oftentimes you go through and you get dismembered. And it's more of a metaphorical term, but sometimes you can even have dreams or visions of being literally dismembered. And what happens after a dismemberment? A rememberment, a remembering. And so it feels like with this beautiful springtime energy and the exuberance and capriciousness of the Rams that we are remembering who we are. And the people around us are remembering who they are and remembering how we saw them as who they are and remembering us as who we really are, which is, I mean, it's natural. It was going to happen anyways, but it may feel like an experience either to you or the other people or to both of you. Like this is a totally new experience because of all of the stuff we've gone through in the karmic carnivals, especially through 2020, which took us through some extra karmic carnivals because of all of the extra retrogrades and all of the extra Capricorn energy. And I'm a Capricorn sun, so I know it was good and it was bad. There was a lot. And there was a big focus on materialism. And with this overarching Aquarian slash Piscean energy that we've got and the release of all that heavy Capricorn energy, it's like, what's that song from Aladdin? A whole new world. Wow, I can't sing that. Anyways, it feels like that sort of energy. And it feels like my youngest son was playing a song that my DM used to listen to, and it's a song it's called Bumpin' Uglies, and it's called Sorry, I'm Not Sorry. And what's funny is the title is enough in it. That feels like its own energy. Oh, thank you, Affy. I'm glad that my readings are very therapeutic. My DM actually, the last time that I saw him before we had a little tiff, was telling me that I really should pursue like a psychology degree, and I was like, you know what? I could, and I might one day just for fun, but I'm really enjoying just knowing that the therapeutic stuff is going on when I do these videos and these readings. I'm happy with that. Anyways, plus we used to always joke I'm such a psychology nerd. Like I love human behavior just because I like learning about it and I'm very curious about people. I'm a why person, and it was funny because I mean, the shadow side of that is if you're with me, sometimes, whether I'm intending it or not, because I'm always in a perpetual place of self growth with my rising, my Gemini rising, like, and my Aries moon, that you can feel like you're the subject of a psychology experiment, which really isn't it. I'm just excited to learn this stuff, and I like it when, those that I'm with want to come with me. Like, come on, let's have an adventure, you know? And that definitely feels amplified, hummingbird energy, with this Aries season. It's like you're probably ready for an adventure, and you're like looking at those around you going, who's coming with me? Like, let's have an adventure. And, it's funny, I'm going to say that I have been seeing enough synchronicities, so thank you for saying that, Affy, too, with therapy and therapeutic stuff. I'm feeling like there's an emphasis, I don't know what that means, but an emphasis on music therapy, but also an emphasis on getting therapy if you've needed it, whether that's therapy through friends, through nature, through actual psychologists, through readings like this, through working on stuff yourself. And if you've already been doing a lot of healing work, or you're already in counseling or therapy, or you feel pretty good about that, you're likely to hear more and more in Aries season about others in your life who maybe you've known needed therapy, needed more music therapy, more time processing and talking, more actual professional counseling and therapy. They're going to be getting it. And that may very well be part of why this energy of like people returning from the past and seeming like new versions of themselves and likely matching what you already knew was true about them, and we're sitting there going, why are you pretending to be this person that you're not? And then you probably got to the space where you're like, you know what? I know who you are, and I'm just not going to focus on who you're pretending to be. I'm going to go do my own thing. You just go ahead and have your tantrum over there. I'm going to do my own thing. And you kind of released it. Or maybe you had a fight with them and you were like, I'm so not playing this game anymore. It's so frustrating knowing that you are so much more than you're being, and you're letting yourself be held back by all these ridiculous, shallow things. And you were like, I'm done. I give up. Goodbye. And you moved on. And those people actually were far more affected by you. Not just that you walked away, like it feels like a combination. It feels like it's the fact that you had the strength to do that. They probably never experienced anybody else who walked away like you did, with with minimal drama, if any, and not seeming all that disturbed by it. And especially if you're glowing up and doing good things with your tribe, your community, your YouTube channel, whatever it is, and they're amazed by that. They envy it almost. They want to do that. And the other part is that a lot of the people that you end up in contrast with like that usually are, they're very immature. Half the time we tend to confuse people who are very narcissistic with people who are just very immature, and it doesn't matter how old they are. They could be 20, they could be 40, they could be 60. If they've not had the experience in their life of doing things in the ways that you're realizing that they're best to do, then they don't know. They don't have the space to have the empathy for you in what you're doing because they've never experienced it. They've never experienced you. They've probably more used to, dramatic people doing things in a different way. And the fact that you provided that example gave them something to look forward to, something different to do, some different way to think about life and themselves, and recognizing it feels like this energy of people recognizing that we're all individuals, that we all make choices, that we've all been through messed up shit in our own ways, in our own versions, but some of us choose not to get stuck in that victim mentalities, or God complexes, thinking we always have to be right. Like some of us choose love and light and laughter and joy. It also feels like this Aries season is very much going to be a focus on laughter. Laughter is the best medicine. And I definitely encourage any of you watching now or later to like indulge in some absurdities just for fun, right? Kaboom, right? You know, was it somebody else? They'll probably watch this later. We were talking about how whenever somebody wants to have an argument with you, you should wear an elephant nose. And I took in and added something that my DM and I used to do, which was really funny when somebody's coming in and they're like, they have this thing they really need to talk to you about and they want to fight. And you go, wait, 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 stop, 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 stop. Can you say that again in your sing song voice? And I'm so not kidding. Like, do that with yourself. Do it with others too, just because it's hilarious. But do it with yourself. When you feel like you're caught in this spin cycle, like whether it's talking down to yourself or arguing with someone else in your head, or maybe even 5D communication, that you got twin flame stuff going on, when you find yourself, right? Thank you, Effie. Yeah, and watch YouTube comedy, yeah, right, Leona or Laura. And I love watching Whose Line Is It Anyways? Sometimes some SNL stuff, just different things like that. And I've been seeing a pattern on energy from there's a character on SNL called Stuart, and he's like, oh, right, like that. That seems like it'll be an energy coming in, but it's not in a. I mean, it's comedy. It's funny. Like somebody may be acting like that to kind of relieve the tension, You know, it could be you or it could be them. But as I was saying though, like if you find yourself in a cycle, whether it's anxiety or anything like that, um, say it in your sing-song voice. I'm not even kidding. Like whether you're just doing it yourself and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I'm so mad about this thing. Like say it in your sing-song voice. Like I'm so mad about this thing. You know, like whatever it is. And yeah, it does move energy. It does release it. And it also brings up your vibration. Like really in life, all you ever really need to know how to do is be the highest vibration in the room. And then you realize you don't even have to be the highest. You just have to be in a good place with yourself. Like a good place, you be grateful. Make lots of lists of gratitude this year. It will help set off the astrological new year for you to where you're going to have a great year. And that reminds me, I'm not sure if this will be the last message for this, but it'll be a good message for this, is karma. Now, with so today would officially be the end to 2021, or sorry, 2020 energy, um, in terms of the astrology. So whatever goals or intentions you set, especially intentional intentions, um, from last March 2020 up to now, or even a few weeks after now, whatever intentions you set for yourself, if they have not already manifested, they're going to very soon, and likely you're going to see the fruits of your labors in Aries season. But what I want to say though is that it's not just the intentions you set; it's the karma, which can have to do with intentions. I'm going to do some videos later that was suggested by a good friend about intention work and how we can accidentally set intentions sometimes, and how to best think about setting intentions properly, so that you get the maximum benefit out of them and you understand the consequences of what you're asking for. But what it feels like with the ending of the old cycles and the continuation of the Piscean energy in there is that the way that you've lived your life since last March 20th, 2020, maybe even since yeah, I'm going to say March 20th, 2019. Maybe even as far back as 2016. I'll let you decide what resonates best for you. But how you have set your intentions to live. Actually, I want to say as far back as 2007, 2006, 2001, and 2000. Like a lot of that stuff, maybe so for some people all at once, and for some people just like portions of things that happened in those times, they're coming in. And karma is neither good nor bad. It's kind of like a loaded gun that's sitting on the table. If nobody picks it up, it's nothing. It's an inanimate object. It doesn't do anything. But karma is about lessons. It's about growth. It's about a return on the energy that you have put out. It very much fits in with one of my favorite Wiccan laws, which is the threefold law. For some people, the tenfold law. That which you put out comes back to you times three. Times 10. And there's lots of other spiritual paths, as you know, the golden rule: treat people how you want to be treated, things like that. And so that energy is coming in. So and it's not like, don't beat yourself up if you've had a few, darker moments, or moments where you weren't very moral, or you did things that weren't really in your best character. Look at what you did most consistently. Did you spend most of the time, especially over this last year, in a victim space, thinking about how you're not good enough and you can't get out, or it's not worth it, or you're scared, or have you spent the energy in a feisty mood? Have you been in a place of lack, and where you've been like, I don't like anything I have, or I'm missing this person in my life, can't be complete without them? Or have you been really overly focused on relationships? Or have you been really angry at the world and blaming everybody else? And like, or have you been in a better space where you're like, you know what, life's not so bad. I like where I'm at, and I'm comfortable with what I have. I want more, and that's okay. I'm accepting of that, and I can get that. Have you worked on having healthy friendships and healthy connections? Have you worked on cleaning up your home and having regular healthy rituals? Have you cut down on smoking, lost weight? Have you been giving without needing a transaction in it? Have you been friends to people because you like being friends to them rather than because you need something from them? Have you been working on not just acknowledging, but loving your own flaws and recognizing that you can keep some and give some away and get rid of some. Have you been working on having healthier boundaries? And it's not all love and laughter, but it is all self-love. Have you worked on self-love and self-care? If you've been doing that stuff over this last year, that energy is going to be amplified, most especially right now in this springtime, feeling alive energy of Aries season. It's really going to kick in. Like the karma that you have collected and created. Like, have you been thoughtful about other people? Yes? Well, then people are going to be very thoughtful of you right now. And it's going to build. And you're going to have like more fans than you know what to do with, but it won't feel overwhelming because you've come to a comfortable place with that. And likewise, if you've been deceitful or you've been dishonest more consistently than you've been honest and kind in doing all that, well, I don't want to say that you're going to have more people who are deceitful and dishonest to you, but it feels like for a lot of people, it's actually going to be feeling this incredible, compelling urge to confess and to be honest. And likely because you've already, or they've already been faced with a lot of people who have been just as dishonest and deceitful with them, and they're realizing they don't want to live that life anymore. And these same people are likely also very aware of how manifestation works and are now coming into a place of self awareness where they recognize that even if they didn't ask for that, they allowed those situations to occur. They trusted the wrong people to try to avoid the consequences of things that they did. And so they likely got in situationships with people that were doing the same thing. Karma, learning those lessons. It feels like that's a lot of the energy of the people who are coming out of adjacent doorways to show up as the people you've always known them to be, and also as people you almost don't recognize, is because they got their karma. And this energy cosmically all around us is making them realize they don't want to live that way anymore. So, I'm seeing a lot of energy that is, what is it? It almost feels like happy birthday energy. It feels like happy birthday energy and happy Valentine's Day energy, and like almost like if you had all these situations where you knew you were doing mostly good and you deserved a lot of things that you didn't get, apologies, confessions, gifts, time spent with certain people, things like that, that's going to come in. And it's fitting along with an absurdity that I learned early on last year, that it's right when you no longer need something that you get it. That's usually how it works. And so for those of you that are getting into a place where you've released the things you thought you needed before, and you're in a good place about it. You're not resentful. You don't have a bunch of shadows that you're holding on to. It's not about a grudge. It's not about being mad at anybody. You're just like, it's okay. I'm comfortable with things as they are. You need to go do that thing, go through dark nights, whatever. I know that if it's meant to be, it'll come back together. And if it's not, that spirit will show me something even better. Like if you're in that energy, then those things that you really wanted, that you're no longer needing anymore, they're coming in. So think about what stuff it is that you were needing and trying to manifest and having a hard time letting go of needing to see in the 3D, that you feel now like you have, even if it's not right there in the 3D, that you're comfortable enough to move forward into grand new adventures. That stuff's probably coming in. And I hope that you come back somewhere on this channel, hopefully this video, but somewhere on this channel, and you leave comments and you tell me about it, because that shit should be shared, and that's just really great. Now, I'm going to end this reading here because we always have lots more time to talk about the smaller things that'll be coming in over the next few weeks and the next few gateways and portals and all that fun absurdity. But since I've got some of you here now, and I know more of you will watch later, I definitely wanted to say I think I am going to do some live card pull readings. I'm not really sure in terms of money wise, because I really like doing donation and tribute only, but I got mouths to feed, and I need to fix my car. I got given a car and then the clutch went out, and I can do it myself, but with my back I'm really kind of cautious about that, and they want a minimum of like $1,400 to do it. So I mean, I'd love the absurdity of trying to manifest that, and I think a really fun way would just be, let's do pick a card readings more often. I'm seeing 4411 on the clock, and I don't know if I've earned enough subscribers on my channel for people to be able to donate through the like the YouTube thing where you can push the button and add a sticker and donate a certain amount. But if not, I could just put my PayPal email, which is pauliventurous@gmail.com, in the description box. And if you're loving the energy and you want it to keep going, then you could always donate. I think that's plenty enough for me. I'm happy with that. I'm more actually excited just about doing card pulls. I might even do one today. So for those of you that would be interested in that, keep a watch out, because while I'm aware that I very well could get on my computer and set it ahead of time, I'm really enjoying this energy of not taking life that seriously. So when I do it, it'll probably just be me popping up live randomly. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe, because it will let you know when I pop on. And I mean, whether money's involved or not, we're going to have fun. And I really love all of you coming on and having fun with me. That's like my favorite thing. So, thank you so much for watching and enjoying this video and adding your energy to it. I'm really happy to have seen many of you that have said that I'm spot on, which is great, because I was not sure about doing these cardless readings, and I'm not going to stick to it. I like doing the cards, but right now this is a energy of removing training wheels. That was very much in a previous a reading I did last night. So let's enjoy our wobbly bike rides without training wheels and see how things go, and we'll have fun along the way. So I'll catch you in the next video.